Hey everybody, Rachel here from Rachthestamper.com, and today I'm going to show you how I made this really pretty fun fold card. Use lots of different pieces. Also, note to you, when you're setting up, be careful where you put your dimensionals, because I got a little overzealous and I didn't need them there or here, so I ended up putting the dimensional backing back on there again. But this is a new set that will be available starting for Sale A Bration, and I have everything here for you. This uses some unusual papers that you might not have thought about. So this is the Watercolor Melon stamp set, and you can earn this free with any $50 purchase starting January 4th through February 29th, because we get a bonus this year. We have leap year. So there also is a coordinating punch for this large watermelon, but these really aren't terrifically difficult to cut out. I actually did hand cut these, so I'll show you what I did. And then for this particular one, I used the big hugs for the outside sentiment, and then I used the, oh, hold on, I forgot, this was a newer one, I believe, as well. I think it is anyway. I used Thinking of You. This is from Softly Said. This is a really nice, like a watercolor look, so that was for the inside, Thinking of You. It's pretty good size too. I like those larger sentiments. And I just wanted to show you this little strip here. I actually needed to trim this down because I cut it too large. So for the card we're going to make today, I did cut it to size, so I won't have that extra piece, but I just kind of laid it on the top there to kind of keep it together. This card inspiration, I'll have to tell you who did it. When I go back and look, I can tell you. It was inspired by someone. She had a layout just like this using this Watercolor Melon, but I used a little bit different of DSPs. Hers was really cool because she had a black and red, so it kind of looks more like watermelon seeds, which was really cool. And then I also used a product, I'm not sure if this is actually still available, from Ranger, but it's Glossy Accents, to put the little shine onto those watermelon seeds. If you can see that there, it actually does make them raised as well, which I think is pretty cool. We used to carry Crystal Effects. They brought it back for a little bit. The dispenser, I think I still have it here, it was much thinner, so you might actually have this, but I don't really think this is also currently available, so unfortunately, I don't think, unless you already happen to have this. The other thing with this, and I'm, again, just being transparent because you know that's how I am, these tips for me always seem to get gooped up no matter what you do. I want to see if I can get my pin, but I have to tell you, the Ranger version that I've had, and I've had for many, many, many years, like I don't even know how many years I've had it, it never ever gets clogged. So I tried storing this upside down, that way it would always be in the tip and be ready to use, but I'm not really quite sure what our deal is, that we can't keep some of our stuff from getting clogged up, which I know for you and for myself personally, if I'm frustrated with it. But anyway, this was a really nice medium. It's really good too if you want to make something glossy or if you want to make something raised. It does take a little bit to dry, but ironically not nearly as long as the Crystal Effect, so it does dry fairly quickly, believe it or not. And I'll be sharing another project with you coming up pretty soon with that as well. So if you want to get that, I'm sure you can find, I'll see if I can find a link and post a link to maybe it on Amazon, but I'm sure you can get it on, if you search Google and you search Glossy Accents Ranger, you probably can find it then. But this is pretty fun fold card. This uses a base of Parakeet Party, and then we have accents here. This is a large 12 by 12 cards, not cardstock, I guess it's a specialty cardstock. Oh, holy moly. Here it is. I don't know what this is called, so I do apologize ahead of time that I don't have the name of it, but it actually is, there is a blue that I used some time ago using the Waves of the Ocean stamp set. So it has a blue, there's a green, and then there's also a kind of like a champagne. So this comes, all three of these in a 3-pack. It is 12 by 12 paper, and you definitely, so even with these little pieces here, I could use this if I hadn't cut one already, but I just picked a little scrap of it and cut it out. It's really nice for just like a little bit of extra embellishment. And then the paper that we're going to use here, this is it. It's just a little 1 1/4 inch by 5 1/2 inch strip. I'm just going to give you a second to think where you could have possibly recognized it, because I did dye it on the end, and I'll show you how we're going to do that. But this is actually from the Lay Shop DSP. This is what the other side of it looks like. So I do love these because I think they're adorable, but I haven't used it yet. And I was like, well, I kind of need something that was watermelon-ish. So I went with this. I actually originally had started with a piece of this. This is in the soon retiring, I believe it's a Walk in the Forest paper. But when I added the pink to it, it kind of muddled the other side of the paper up a little bit. This was not as pretty as I thought it would be. And then the rest of it, I just used another piece of Parakeet Party, and I stamped, this is just a piece of Sweet Sorbet, and then the rest of it's Parakeet Party. So I figure what we'll do is we'll do the inverse on this card instead, okay? So let me just move all these to the side for now. Put this down here. Let me grab my pin and close my glue really quickly before I lose it. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Sweet Sorbet as our base, okay? So this is 8.5 by 5.5. You're scoring at 4 1/4 and 1 1/4. Okay, so it folds in and out. So just like that. Okay. So I'm just going to grab my bone folder and then I'll show you the pieces. So I am working below with my glass mat, and I did not realize, but I'm sure people that have used glass mats before and they know better, it does have a couple glare points. So if that is something that bothers you as you're watching this, what I may do is just not use it to record videos and go back to my wooden table with my stamp pad. So just let me know what you think about that. So we're going to begin with our little piece of DSP, and I'm actually going to be pulling the label off of this. This is a new, to me anyway, mat that I got from Waffle Flower. It's a grip mat, so it's essentially a humongous photopolymer stamp. So it's pretty cool. Actually, you know what? I might try something different on this because of just thinking about what I did with it. So I'm just sticking this paper to it just to make it easier for myself. And you can blend on it. Obviously, it will stain specifically with red inks, but it's still completely usable. It does also come with a grid paper, or a grid piece, I guess I should say. I'll show you what I mean behind it. So it does have a grid, so you can lay it down. That way you can measure. But what I did is just pull it off of here and use the grid from the glass mat. But I know a lot of people have gotten these for use in their MISTI because it will hold the paper or whatever it is you're working on in it while you do it. So I'm just going to start on this card. I'm just using Sweet Sorbet and I'm going to blend one to the end. But it holds it in place, which is really cool. So you don't have to worry about anything moving. If you do have a MISTI, you can stamp in there and you don't have to worry about having magnets or anything, which I do think is pretty ingenious. And so that is a mat made by Waffle Flower. And this is the largest mat that they sell. They do also have one that is fit for different MISTI sizes. So now all I'm going to do is pick this up, and there's my blended piece. So it's really pretty. And what I'm going to do is I'm also going to, while I have this here, I'm just going to lay this right in the same line here. We'll just do our stamping. So I'm kind of just doing the inverse, even though I know it really won't make sense because we're going to end up with green watermelon and red leaves, but we'll see what it looks like. And if we don't like it, you can use yours differently. So again, this is a photopolymer stamp set that you can earn free during Sale A Bration. Sale A Bration is one of the best times of the year to purchase Stampin' Up, to join my team if you're so inclined. They have some really great offers right now. You can either add $30 extra to your order as a demonstrator, if you join as a demonstrator, or you can get the Glass Mat Studio for free, which also does include this little silicone mat here. So there's that. Or you can pick $30 of anything if you'd like. Okay, so then I know I'm going on red, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my little microfiber cloth. I'm just going to wipe this off. So if this does get dirty, what you can do is you just rinse it underwater and it just gets the stick back, which is pretty cool if you ask me. So again, I'm just kind of lining this up with my grid that's below. And then I'm going to grab the slices of watermelon. So what did I do for this one? I just did the half and the full. I didn't do any of the cut pieces. So you clean this off really quickly. So I've really found a couple of these things that I really do like. Here's my other one here. That I really never thought I would use, but they are pretty helpful. And I guess anything that makes you stamp a little faster is helpful. So we could either use Parakeet Party or Lemon Lime Twist. I'm going to go with Lemon Lime Twist just to kind of change it up a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stamp the watermelon half, kind of a couple random places, and then I'll fill in with some of the slices, and then we'll go back and we'll add the rim, or the rind, not the rim. It's not a margarita, Rachel. And I think I'm going to put one more in the center here. There we go. And I'll leave that out for a minute. Hope everyone had a wonderful holiday. I know I did. It was very nice. The time does go by fast, which is kind of funny because if you're at work all day, it doesn't seem to go by very fast, does it? Or if you're doing something you don't really want to do. But we have been having quite a lot of rain, which is kind of stinky. I really wish it was snow. I know not everyone loves snow, but I do. Probably most specifically because we don't get it very much anymore, and really like having the opportunity for a snow day, being able to go sledding, any excuse to stay in and bake cookies. You know, I'm all over that. All right, then I'm going to follow in with my rind for my quarter slice. Not really being super precise here, so not that it has to be perfect, it doesn't. And then the other thing is I did even add in the little seeds. So we're going to go ahead, I'm going to grab a little block and we'll add those in. Because it's odd enough that we already have green watermelon, but I don't know, it's kind of neat. Really gives it a different type of a feel. There is another really cute stamp set that I can't wait to show you. And it's really fun. Actually, the cool part is I'm waiting for the second portion to come in. So it actually also has a coordinating Sale A Bration die set. You may have already seen it. It's just some little tropical jungle friends, which is always adorable. Let me just clean these off really quickly. I guess the one thing I'm going to have to get used to a little bit more with this glass mat is the loudness of the blocks when I put them down, because that is definitely one thing I'm really not used to. Okay, so here is our piece. So this will be like our replacement piece. So we have one here. Oh, I did cut that a little bit too short. Son of a bugger. Oh, well, that's going to just have to be the way it is. I thought it wasn't quite short enough. So this piece was originally too long, so I put that one here. And then this piece is going to be this piece here. We'll still have the same, this layer and that layer there. And the only other thing we need to do is our inside panel. And I'm not going to do the big sentiment on this one. I'm not really sure what I want to do, but I kind of did the large one on that other one, so I figured I would let this one stay smaller. So we have lots of other sentiments here. I'm trying to think what would be, because the other one I thought would be great, where Your Love Beyond Measure would be really nice with the tool stamp set. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a happy birthday. Happy birthday. Where's the other thing that I wanted? Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I was trying to figure out if I could piece something else together. I think this is probably one of my most used sentiments, this happy birthday. It's just so adorable. Yeah, I was just sorry about that. I'm like on this quiet pause. You guys are probably wondering, is she still there? she's still here. I was just trying to decide what I wanted to do, if I wanted to put like best ever or something like that. So I think since I'm on red, whereas before I was on green, I went with green, and this time I'm going to be on red. I think I'm going to stick with the same thing. So I do have Shaded Spruce or Garden Green. I think I'm going to stick with Garden Green. And then I have a really cute sentiment for the outside. So we're just going to do, and I'm going to try my best just to line it up, happy birthday, which is kind of nice because you have this whole long grid here, so you can really line it up nicely. And while I'm here, I'm going to do one other thing. We'll just put a little watermelon rind, and then I just need to grab that half and my sweet sorbet, and we'll add that in. Here it is. Put that on the side. Man, it is coming down out there, I'll tell you. Cool part, it is really, really easy, and I know this is just a little bit out of your view here, so I'm just going to slide it up, but it is with the photopolymer. It is really, really simple to line that up, so that's one cool thing. And again, I did do this kind of off the cuff, and I'm going to just do my seeds, because this is going to be a seedless watermelon. You know, those are the kind you can eat, so we'll just pretend like the lighter color makes them more edible. So I'm really a little bit out of range because of the way my camera is lined up. So I'm sorry this is near the bottom. I might have to move this mat up to the front a little bit more. Okay, so the only other thing we technically need to do are the watermelon. And I did some of them ahead of time. So I'll show you what I have here. So we have our little piece. And then I did a bunch of watermelon. What I did is I stamped them, I inked it in Lemon Lime Twist, and then I kind of rolled it in the Garden Green. This one was just done with Sweet Sorbet, Garden Green, lots of seeds in that one. So I'm going to just use these that I already did just to make the purpose of you not having to watch me stamp again. But I'm going to stamp one, I'm just not going to cut it out. And then I already did this sentiment, You're Simply Marvelous. And that is from the Perennial Postage, which is also a new stamp set. But this is a older die set that we have right now. So the Perennial Postage actually comes with a coordinating set of dies. I did not get that, though. So I'm going to show you really quickly. And let me just wipe this off so I can get my little chunk piece out here and you can see what I mean. So to do this, all you're going to do is ink it, go like that, stamp it, grab my green, and I know I have a different green here, but you get my drift. Kind of line it up. You can leave the little bit of white in there if you wanted to, so you would have that little bit of pith, but it is pretty easy to cut that out and just go along the teeth. So I'm going to cut this one out just to show you, and then we'll go from there. So I'm not going to put any seeds in this one. So this watercolor melon does not have coordinating dies, but again, you can use the punch for the large watermelon. You can also use this for this half watermelon piece as well, because you see it will fit in that size. So if that's something that you're not really into fussy cutting, it's really terrifically easy to cut this, believe it or not. You just go up the side, and I really didn't go super far in. I wasn't really kind of following the bite mark specifically. I kind of just did my best. So there you go. Okay, so it was pretty easy to do. Okay, so now I'm just going to move all of these stamps out of the way, and we will put this together. Okay. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to layer this piece right on here. And I did undercut this. Boy, I was trying to be super conservative, and I don't know what I did. I goofed this all up. So this is going to go underneath here. Just like that. Okay, so there you go. And then we're going to layer the rest of it together. We have our watermelon piece. Okay, so what I'm going to do just to make this a little bit easier on myself is I'm going to just put this cover back on here. That way, if anything is on here, it'll just slide around and it'll be easier to see. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put this piece on first. And since I undercut it, I'm going to just line it up to this edge here. So just using liquid glue for everything because it makes it so much easier. So this one was 1 1/4. And I'm going to just open this so I can make sure that's right to the edge like that. And press, okay? So this fold was 1 1/4, and I feel like no, 1 1/2. And this was 1 1/4. So normally when I did this other one, I cut it right to the edge. So this one is just a little bit smaller. So this could have been, this one here is 1 1/4. Here I cut it by 1 1/2. I scored it, I should say, by mistake. Then we're going to also take this other piece and we're going to slip this right in here, and this is going to just be our over layer, just like so. So it is going to hang over, which is fine. Okay, so same thing again. I'm going to just take a little bit of my liquid glue, okay, and I'm going to just press this right up to the edge. Now if you wanted to, you could have adhered it to the other underneath portion first and then adhered it to your card. It really just depends, but everyone is, whoops, everyone is a little bit different. This one doesn't want to stay. And the only other thing I want to show you is with this paper, I guess it's because of the ridges, you'll find that it's just always a teeny hair. So what I usually do is I glue it down, and then after the fact, I will just trim it just a little bit. Okay, so then we're going to have our other piece. So just looking at this here, this kind of layers over it. So since mine is over just slightly, I'm going to just move it over just a little bit. So when the card is closed, you kind of still have that little peek from behind there. It's going to be about where it is. So I'm going to put glue and then I'm going to close it before I really press it. So we're going to go right about here. Just making sure it's lined up at the top. And it needs to come down just a smidge. Okay, that looks good. And just give that a press. Okay. Then we're going to put this piece. Now I'm wondering, because this is going to fit since I measured this goofy. Yeah, so I'm going to trim this down just a hair because I clearly did not do my measurements correctly. So that would have been 2 3. So this is 2 1/2 now. This is going to be 2 1/2. So we'll see if I can even fit that on. I know the measurements don't match up exactly though, so we'll have to see. Like that. And then I have my inside panel, which is like that. Oh, and you know what? These pieces do line up, so I could actually still put this on this edge. And I think just to show you, I'm going to tell you right now, I really don't like the fact that these are not balanced on here like this is. It's just a 1/4. But since we're already here, I'm going to just show you what I'm going to do because nobody is probably going to care except for me and whoever watches this, and you're going to be like, yeah, definitely. Now, the other thing I could do if I wanted to is to just layer it down a little bit and just avoid that piece, which I think I'm going to. Maybe you can put a little something on the top there. I'm going to glue this piece down. I can tell you one thing. If we were fortunate enough right now to be getting snow, man, we would have a lot of snow. This is raining cats and dogs out there. Which basically also means that my dog does not like going to the bathroom because it is so wet. He'll just stand there and stare at you, kind of thinking like, are you really going to make me go out there? Okay. So this is just a smidgy over now, and you can see the underneath portion, which that does, yeah. See, this one is so perfectly lined up. So it really is important, Rachel, to make sure that you score your stuff correctly, but it's okay. At least it's even there, so we have a nice even layer going down. So I'm trying to think if there's another little piece we could put across the top there. Does it really matter? Probably not. So I think I'm going to just leave it like that, and that's the way it's going to go. And then what we're going to do, though, still is we're going to put our little pieces And I just stamped this in Parakeet Party as well and just fussy cut it. Actually, it was pretty simple to cut out. And we have this piece, and I think we'll use the one with the seeds. We'll go with these two, like so. I think I'm going to use the one that's the whole, because I was fooling around with my color here. You know, sometimes you'll get the watermelon, it's a little bit more saturated. So I was just fiddling around with that. So I'm going to glue these two together. And I'm going to trim this and add it in, which I did before. So I trimmed this, but I'm actually going to cut just so this little one sticks up just a little bit. You want to be careful because you don't want to accidentally rip them apart. And I'm just going to cut this little nib off, and then same in here. I'm going to just cut it kind of so they're a little bit separate. And I'll give it a little teeny bit more depth. One other thing you can do very, very gently is grab the tip of your bone folder, and you can kind of just curl this up, curl these edges up a little bit. And I'm going to do one more thing since I went to that trouble to do that. I'm going to just lift this, peel this back just a little bit. I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to grab a little bit of my garden green with a small blending brush. I just want to hit the edges just a little bit. Okay. Very gently pull it up, just give it another little curl. Okay. So then when I put these two together now, which I'm going to glue these, we'll see how we can tuck this little piece in. Where do we like it? Kind of trying to play around, see where I like it best. There you go. I'm going to do it just like that. So I'm just going to lift this up, put a little bit of glue here, a little glue underneath for that, stick this together, put a little glue under here, press. Okay, so I still have my other sentiment that I want to use for this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how simple this glossy accents work. So what you do is you kind of want to give it a shake just to get the stuff to the tip. You can squeeze on something if you want to practice. So I'll show you what I mean. So if you have your silicone mat and you want to make sure you're getting a nice form, because nothing will stick to this. And then what I did is I just keep, really just needs a little bit, kind of going like a little bit of an oval. And what you'll notice is, if you're wondering when it is or isn't dry, it has a little bit more of a cloudy appearance when it's still wet. Can't talk while I'm doing those two that are really close. It's a little bit cloudier right now, and that may or may not be easy to see on there when it's wet. But then as soon as it dries, on here you can see it's really clear and shiny. Kind of looks like wet seeds versus cloudy seeds. So when I put this on, I am going to be really careful. So let me move this out of the way so that can dry. So we're going to put this on here. And I think I'm going to use that sentiment that I had, if I can remember. Where did I put it? It's in here somewhere, probably underneath of something. Oh, dang, here it is, right on top. Simply Marvelous. So we're going to put that right here, just like so. So I'm going to glue this on here, and then we'll put some dimensionals. Go over so it's in between the L and the S. There you go. Okay, and then I'm going to put a few dimensionals, and I'm going to be careful because I don't want the ones going behind here on the side. Wah! Oh, looky, see, it saved it. There was not, that was, could have been a disaster. So I'm going to stick with 4, and I'm going to try to concentrate them right in the center here. So we're going to put one that'll hold these two pieces here together. So I kind of, again, I have them just in the center, just like that. Probably could put one more right back here. Put a little half piece. So I have one half piece here, and that should be good, just like that. So I'm going to peel these off. Try my best not to touch it, because one thing you do want to do is you want to put your glossy accents or whatever it is that you're using, you want to put them on when you have time for this just to sit and dry. So I'm going to kind of use my scissor just to press that. There we go. That way nothing, yeah, it's a little crooked, but oh well, it's on there now. So again, make sure you measure correctly. Don't do goofy things like I did. I guess you have this little piece there showing. But the other cool thing that the person that designed this card did, and I'm going to see if I can find them, because this really made it look super cute, and I didn't even do this on the first one. But I do think it's a really great idea. If I can find what I'm looking for. She put some, oh, here they are. Well, these are close enough. The classic matte dots, or some sort of a little black accent dot. So I just ordered some more of these so we can do this for our stamp club. Just gonna put, oh, come back. Oh, goodness, come on, Rach. She put, I would tend to go with 3, but since I'm just popping them one at the end, I'll do 2. But she put little black dots. One other thing you could use, and I want to show you this because maybe you have forgotten about these, and actually we use these for Christian's Christmas ornaments. We always make a Christmas ornament every year. You could also use these. You just have to give them time to dry. The pearlized enamel effects. So same thing, these definitely need time to dry. If you also wanted to do your seeds black instead of clear, you could use this. So I'm going to show you what it does. So same thing, you can actually even make DIY embellishments. So what you do is you want to shake it down, and you give it a squeeze. So it makes pretty much any big little, they're not black, they're more of like a pearlized grayish black. They're really pretty though. Especially in person. They have a lot of shine and dimension to the colors. But if you let this sit and completely dry, you can actually pick this up with a pokey tool, or take your pick or a jewel picker, and you can put it onto stuff and it will stay. Or what you can do is you could take your, I'll show you what I mean. Let me make sure these are pressed. Let's put one little gray. Now it kind of looks like a little face, but you get my drift. You could put that. You could put little dots on here. But lots of different things that you can do. The only thing is when you're doing these, so like the enamel effects or the glossy accents, just want to make sure I clear that out so it's not, doesn't end up drying on me. And then I'm like, well, see, that's what happens when you leave the cap off. You do need to allow these plenty of time to dry and set. So those are the 2 cards. I hope you found some useful tips today as I made these cards, and maybe some things to try or some do or don'ts. I hope this is on your list because it is definitely adorable. It will be a great hit for all of your summer birthdays. I'm sure we have lots of graduations. Just a really great pick-me-up. And I'm not sure which one I prefer, but I really do think I love the tone on tone with these 2. But I'm not sure if I like the green better or if I like the pink better. So let me know what you think. So again, this was in Sweet Sorbet. This was in Parakeet Party. I think this would look really nice also in Melon Mambo. Berry Burst would look really pretty. I'm trying to think what other, Granny Apple Green would look nice as well. But thank you so much for joining me today. Again, these Sale A Bration products will become available on January the 4th. And again, you can redeem them with every $50 purchase or $100 purchase. There are other items as well. There is the paper, so the tool paper, which is really cool. And then the other one that I'm going to be sharing with you soon will be the Jungle Pals. You have your sloth. I believe that's a lemur. Your croc. I did a cute one with this. tiger, I'm guessing tiger, and toucan. This is my favorite. I love him a lot. This one also has a coordinating, but also has additional dies for Sale A Bration. That's available with a $100 purchase. So as soon as that comes in, I will share that with you guys. So thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining. Welcome. If you have a demonstrator, that's wonderful. You can support me by just clicking the like button, sharing this with your friends, subscribing, turning on the notifications, sharing this with someone that you think would enjoy this video as well. And if you don't and you'd like to purchase any of these supplies, all you have to do is go to the description in the YouTube. It has a link. There's also a link with the blog post with all the measurements to make this card and many others there. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.